Yo, what is up guys, Keydolf here. So, Teostra is one of the elder dragons in Monster Underworld, and damn right they didn't give you quite the fight. Teostra's control over the fire element is speculated to come from his two curved horns. Hunters can cripple the monster's ability to produce a fire aura if they can manage to destroy either one of them. Teostra is also the male counterpart of Lunastra, although Lunastra has not been sighted in Monster Underworld yet. Now, before we start the fight, let's take a look at its weaknesses first. As you guys can see, the best place to hit this beast is its head, tail and its wings. Its head works as a weak spot no matter what type of weapon you're using, however, its tail can only be severed by using a bladed weapon like the switch axe, greatsword or longsword. Any bladed weapon will work out fine, but I recommend the dual blades here, since it won't take away your mobility and you can land some pretty quick hits. Now, Teostra has some pretty quick maneuver as well, so that's why you don't want to have a slow weapon here. You can also use range to fight him from afar and use some piercing arrows to destroy its wings pretty quick. Now, as for the elemental advantage, the best elements to use against him from strongest to weakest are water, ice, thunder and dragon. Now, fire won't do much since you will just resist it. Then the most effective ailments you can use against him, again from strongest to weakest, are poison, stun, sleep, blast and paralysis. Now there are also some parts you can break and receive some extra loot when doing so. Now when breaking its head you can receive Teostra Horn Plus and a Teostra Gem, although the gem is pretty rare. When breaking its wings you have a chance of receiving the Teostra Webbing. And when carving its tail you have a chance of receiving the Teostra Tail or again the Teostra Gem. Yet again, the gem is pretty rare. Now as for the equipment of this fight, I recommend using the dual blades along with the water element or the poison ailment. Now as for the armor, take one that has high defense and fire resistance. Upgrading your armor, whether through using armor spheres or simply crafting better gear, just won't hurt. You'll also want to bring some cool drinks on this quest, as some of the fight can take part in the fiery zones. Now as for the strategy of this fight, in Elder's Recess you will want to start in the base in Zone 12 if you haven't locked it. This as the Teostra fight begins in a special arena in Zone 13. Now in this area you will be dealing with jets of lava that he can control to force you out of the wanted position. Now in addition to his insane flame output in his various flame attacks and the explosive powder he leaves a trail of, he will also retreat back to the zone once it is heavily damaged. Now Teostra is extremely aggressive and it will bear down upon you if seen. When enraged his body is engulfed in flame and even standing near him will do some flame damage to you without the proper resistance. Now his attacks from the front are pretty much the most dangerous weapon he has. As mentioned earlier, when he becomes enraged, the flames around his body become stronger, leaving explosive powder clouds around the map that he can ignite. Now the attack to avoid at all costs comes when he is most enraged and engulfed in flame. He will rise into the air, bringing a cloud of explosive air before releasing it in a massive explosion that will, and yes you guessed it, most likely kill you. Now keep dodging and entering in and out of combat while healing up and you will knock him out eventually. Now again, as for the knockdowns, try to go for his weak spots during the fight and try to knock him down. Now one thing I found very useful is to try and mount him, as it will give you a knockout for free. You can do that simply by jumping down from a ledge and use your main attack to trigger the mount phase. Now should you be able to get him on the ground, first focus his tail and try to sever it. This as it will give you a little bit more breathing room and one less attack to focus on. On top of that, an extra carve once you lop it off. Now after you do that, focusing his face should knock him down again. Now whenever that happens and his tail is already severed, focus his wings. Now breaking those will eventually make him a lot less agile and just slow him down in general. Now you guys kinda have to decide for yourself here, because there's one more thing we can do while he's knocked out, and that is go for his horns. Now there's one quick tip I want to give you guys, and that is if you have trouble with Teostra's movement, you can pretty much go for his wings, since it will make him a lot less agile. But if you seem to struggle with his fire attacks, definitely go for his horns, since breaking them will kinda nullify the ability of him to create the flames and explosions. Now then, as for the turf war, Now, as you guys know from the tutorial, bringing different monsters together will make them fight each other. But since our little friend here is on top of the food chain, he will attack anything and not take too much damage himself. But since he will be fighting other monsters, he is not really focused on you. You can use this as an opportunity to land some great hits. Now be careful though, since he can pretty much still hurt you with all of his flame AoE attacks. Now once Teostra has eventually been felled after a long and drawn out battle, you'll have the opportunity to scavenge its corpse for some rare items like the Teostra scale or the Teostra webbing. But your chances of obtaining a Teostra gem are drastically increased if you manage to break his head or its tail. And now that's it again for this video. I will thank you all for watching. Bear with my voice because I'm a little bit sick right now. But if this was helpful for you, consider to drop a like and comment down below on what guy you want to see next. Also feel free to subscribe to my channel for some more Monster Hunter guides in the future or other content related to games. And as always guys, I just have to point this out, thank you so much for the increased amount of subscribers we've been getting on our channel. It is absolutely amazing. Now as always guys, I love you all, wish you a very good day, and peace out.